afternoon, people, wherever you are viewing from. Welcome to Barbershop Convo Series, another series brought to you at Cut City Unisex Barbershop in Queens, New York. Big shout out to Queens, Jamaica, Queens. Yes, today we have with us Andrew Grant. We're going to get into some fantastic conversations about finance and helping people become more financially educated to make smarter financial decisions. But before we hear from Andrew, my name is Jason Tomlinson, aka Prince the Barber. I will be your host for today and navigating us through this conversation and experience. I've been barbering for 12 years now, and I'm really excited about being able to teach and educate other barbers and help train other barbers to continue to push the industry, but give people a skill that they can work with, that they can earn some income with. So that is what I am big on. I also work for the New York State Department of Civil Service and helping individuals get jobs with the state government. So if you are somebody or you know somebody who is interested in working for the Department of Civil Service, right now there is a program called NY Helps. And this program allows people to roll into civil service jobs without the need to take an exam. There's traditionally an exam that is coupled with civil service jobs. Right now, through the NY Helps program, you do not need to take an exam for a job with civil service. So if you are interested in that, go on statejobs.ny.gov and click that NY Helps button, click yes, and get signed up for work with the Department of Civil Service, but all agencies in the state, DOT, SUNY, OPDWW, any state agency, if you want to get involved, go to statejobs.ny.gov. So now I want to turn it over and introduce our wonderful guest for today, Mr. Andrew Grant. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you. So introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Absolutely. Yes.
Go for it.
So my name is Andrew Grant, and I am a product of New York, born in Manhattan, raised in Brooklyn, grew up in Queens, now living in Long Island. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah! So for all of my veterans out there that were prepared to make the sacrifice, and for those that made the ultimate sacrifice, our prayers are with you and your family. So a little bit about me. I'm a licensed financial professional. I have been doing this now for the past 5 years, thank God. And as a result of COVID, I've been able to expand my reach virtually. Prior to the pandemic, what most people realize is that they were stuck to a brick and mortar. Were not able to venture out to the virtual space too much. It was considered still unorthodox, but it became our new normal. And as a result of that, it gave me the ability to expand my agency across the United States, whether it's East Coast, West Coast, middle of the United States, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, you name it. So we are definitely doing that. So that's a little bit about me now. I'll talk a little bit more about why I got into it. I was coaching track and field. I was a club coach in high school. I was a club coach, and I coached anywhere from the babies, the elementary school age kids, all the way through high school, and even some masters, people who are above the high school level, college level, or those who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s. They can also compete. It doesn't stop. You don't stop competing because you're aged out of the high school grade. But anyway, I had a parent who was a good friend of mine for 10 years. He got introduced into the world of finance from being a physical therapist. And he knew that I was great with people, loved to help people. I mean, hey, I'm helping the little people. So why not, see if into. And just like most people, skeptic. I don't know. I call it the peanut. The parents of the peanut characters. All you heard was yeah. You heard nothing. You heard nothing else but womp. You tuned out. I had some questions of my own that I felt that maybe this company might be the one to answer the question. And thank God. I kept an open line, and I went ahead and I asked some questions. In the process of asking those questions, I came from a space of, I know about companies that were here within our communities that, although they did what they needed to do, I found them to not be as resourceful. I don't want to bring anyone's parade, but I just felt like I needed a little bit more. And once I saw that this company actually gave me more, I said, this is something that I can do myself. And so here I am.
What's the name of that?
So the name of the company, World Financial Group, World Financial Group and Transamerica Financial Advisors. So if you know the big building out there in California, the triangle building out there in the San Francisco line, yeah, so that's my parent company right there. So it's a Fortune 500 company. So we're talking about good sign. Okay.
So y'all heard it. Y'all heard it first.
For sure. And we call them the money company, Aegon, which was formed in the Netherlands. That's a company that's over 200 years old, and another Fortune 500 company on the global scale. So we're not talking like small fries. We're talking about heavy hitters. And I'm so glad to be a part of that and be able to grow my company within their company and be able to add value to my community throughout the United States.
Well, I absolutely love that you were talking and speaking and working with people on financial education. And if I could just say it, especially as a Black man, because in our households, we generally don't grow up with healthy conversations around money in Black households, right? So kudos to you and this work that you're doing. And so my bit of background as a financial educator, I used to work with the students at Barber Community College, and I was responsible for the financial education program there. And it touched on new norms, and normality. And one student that I worked with, he was from Nigeria, and over there, everything is done cash. Nothing's credit, right? So when he came to America, credit, his cards and everything. So it was a different experience for him. Correct. It was a culture shock. So understanding that, one, is it true that 84% of U.S. adults have a credit card? And why do we in the United States rely on credit so much opposed to some other countries that always go with cash or work?
Wow. So now, as far as the numbers are concerned, you can give or take, a couple of percentage. But I will tell you this: every single client that I sit with, when I do a financial assessment, they all have a credit card. At least one carries a balance. They might have a few that does not. Why? It's promoted. This is what's promoted. This is one of, if you want to say, part of the system that's in play. They want you, as citizens, to have credit. Because guess what? This country operates on credit. Debt, primarily debt. Because how many people do you know that actually have credit cards that are really staying out of their payment? So understand that it's all part of the system. I'll say it's calculated. It's calculated. So I won't hold any punches. If you're looking for me to hold punches, I'm sorry, I'll take them from you right now. Okay, I have to give you the honesty. And this is one of the things that are holding people back from their generation because they're focusing so much money on paying off that debt. They forget to pay themselves and invest in themselves. Why do you think so many people from other countries come over here and do so well? They haven't been branded or indoctrinated about credit card. If cash is king, without cash you do nothing. My family is from Jamaica. Okay? But guess what? Yes, women. Okay? And guess what? If you don't have your money, you have no talk. So you have to, that's what we leverage. So when people come from other countries that do this cash system, they come here and have somewhat of a better understanding. Sometimes they kind of fall into that trap, because call it whatever you want, it's a trap. Although we do understand that based on the system that we live in, you have to understand how to use credit to your advantage. When in Rome, you do as the Romans do, right? So at least make sure you are the benefactor of your decision.
Now, you just touched on something, and I want you to dive in a bit deeper. You talk about paying yourself.
Yes.
What does that mean? And what does that look like, paying yourself?
Absolutely. So when we talk about paying yourself, I want you to think about a dollar. You're bringing a dollar. How much of that money actually stays in the house? When you look at people's bank account, how many people can say they have a certain amount of money saved? When the pandemic happened, how many people were stuck because they did not pay themselves prior to create themselves emergency funding, so that way they don't have to be reliant on the government or whatever programs that they were out there. They were not sovereign. They didn't have that independence. That is part of the system. That's one piece of the system. That debt component. Because you weren't paying yourself, you're so hyper-focused on, I have to pay this debt, I have to pay this debt. A pandemic happened. You lost your job. You have nothing to live off of. And now you're stressed. Now you might find yourself doing all those things that might not be of your character to make that desperate measures, desperate situations, right? So why put yourself in that position? But if you can start developing that muscle early, you can now, protect, create like a bubble of protection that will cause you not to have to worry about that.
So as we think about paying ourselves, as we think about credit, credit cards are not bad. It's just being financially smart and being financially educated up front.
Sure.
So can you talk a little bit about what are the types of credit that exist?
Absolutely. So let me give you a quick story about introduction to credit. And to what, and I want to just, again, kudos to you as far as being able to talk to young people early. I didn't have that conversation given to me when I left high school, joined the Marine Corps, okay, finished my tour of the Marine Corps, and then went into college. For any of us that went to a CUNY school will understand, they were always outside of the campus. Get your t-shirt, remember they always would say, get your t-shirt, get your Frisbee, get your Snicker bar. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was a starving student. Okay. So back in my day, all I had was 2 tokens each day. You remember I said token, I didn't say a Metro card. Okay? I said 2 tokens. I had a token to go to school and a token to go back. My brain wasn't connecting to bring my own food. I was starving. And when I heard that guy say Snicker bar, I said, ooh, Snicker satisfies, right? So let me go ahead and let me sign up for this t-shirt. My pride got in the way. I wouldn't tell that man that I was signing up for the Snicker bar. So I said, what does it take to get this t-shirt? Put in all of your vital information right here. As a result of that, you can now get whatever you want. I said, okay, after finished, and you have that Snicker bar. I was satisfied. Okay. That satisfaction cost me over the life of that credit card close to $4,000. That's probably the most expensive Snicker bar you ever had. That Snicker bar. So understanding, I didn't know what kind of credit card I was getting. I don't know if I was getting a secured credit card, unsecured credit card. I didn't know. I didn't understand what rate I was getting. Was I getting was I getting fixed? Was I getting variable? I had no clue. And this is why I feel that financial literacy on the basic level, we should, the parents stop hiding this information from your children. And that is also a problem. Everyone wants to hide. Be transparent. Okay. When I talk to my affluent clients, there is no secret. Okay. And I'm not talking just my affluent people here. We're doing it too.
We exist in that
We
realm.
exist in that realm as well.
Absolutely.
A lot of people would think that, oh yeah, we know. No. We are in that realm. Okay, and we are sharing the information within our circle as far as our household. I think what happens is why we don't share it because there's a shame. There's a little bit of a shame within the family. Oh, I'm not making what I thought I would love to. I'm not making the salary that my child or my family would like to, if you want to say, boast or walk with a certain, if you want to say peacocking a little bit of pride. So we need to just be more forthcoming with the information. Let's see where the issues are, come together as a community. Because in your household, you are a community. You have to be able to say, okay, here's what I'm short here. This is what I need to do to make it happen. Now, keep that in mind. Now you understand that muscle that is now being created for you, young ones. So that way you learn from my mistakes and also learn from my successes. That's as well.
Yeah. And I think it's important to have healthy examples of being able not to just see these things on TV,
right,
but you have access to it in your household. You have access to it in your family.
Sure.
The celebrities we see are fantastic, but can we pick up a phone and call them when we have a question? Can we see how their strategy and systems work? Right? So I think understanding that, and one thing you touched on was that I don't know, right? And the absence of that information. So when considering our decisions, when we're borrowing money, when we're getting into credit cards and signing up for things, what are some things up front that we should be considering as we're exploring credit cards or any sort of lines of credit?
Now, here's how I look at credit. It must have multiple purposes. I can't just get a credit card just to have a credit card. Give me cash back. Give me some travel credit points. So at least that way, I can know that at the end of this cycle or end of this year, I've accumulated a certain amount of points. Maybe I want to take a trip.
Yeah.
I work so hard, so why not? A lot of times we're exchanging just the accessibility of the credit card, and that's it. It's kind of we're not benefiting really. The credit card company is the one that's really benefiting because again we're going to talk about the average. The average household will carry a balance. So guess what? That's going to benefit the borrowers, the lenders, not the borrowers, the lenders. So how do we make something that we can benefit from as well? Yes, that we're going to pay whatever get your travel credit. Get reward points.
And see, you highlighting the features, the benefits.
Yes.
I'm glad those things like the cash back, right? Like we see the commercials about cash back all the time now. And I'm so happy that those things are coming to the forefront more. Because you should get something back from what you spent. If you could get it, if it's out there for you to have, go get it.
Absolutely.
So in terms of thinking about the benefits, how would one make a decision on which card is right for you? Like you touched on a little bit about the travel points and that. So can you think a bit more into the benefits and which
well, number one is you're going to check on interest rates, of course. You're going to always look at interest rates. What kind of interest rate are you getting? And when I talk about interest rate, I want people to understand anything that incurs interest, whether it's being, well, since we're talking about credit and borrowing credit, you want to make sure that you understand the rule of 72. If you don't understand the rule of 72, you could be setting yourself up for failure. Now, the rule of 72 dictates whatever your interest rate divided. So, you know, back in the day, next out. I'm not paying them. I didn't tell them to give me that credit card, right? That's their business. Oh well. Right? Now, credit card company knows that, well, okay, you don't have to pay this back. But just so you know, we're running that tax is still running. Okay? Every day. That day, every day, you are being that rule of 70 play. So if somebody decides to max out, say you get a $10,000 limit credit card, and you max it out, and you pay nothing on that credit card, and say you're getting a trade up, say you're being charged 24%, nothing on that. In 3 years, that $10,000 is going to be $20,000. That's how if you can get a credit card with a lower interest rate. Okay. You asked what other arrangement, but understanding that it all depends on if you are the giver or the receiver.
Okay.
Will determine if you're the debtor or the borrower. Now, I borrow money from you. You're the one that's receiving the money. Right? I'm the one receiving the money. I borrow money from you. I'm receiving the money. I owe you.
I receive the interest.
You're going to receive the interest because that's going to be the agreement. Because of what is borrowed, the agreement is the stipulation of you giving me that money, borrower, right? I owe you the principal and the interest, whatever the term is. Sometimes your term might be, let's say, 5 days. Maybe in the agreement, it will say, well, can I pay it early? That might be part of the agreement. Of course, you know, if you're paying early, it's not a benefit to you. Right? It's not a benefit to you. So what most companies will say is, no, you can't pay early. But really, the business makes money. Debt is money. Debt changes hands. It's like one of the biggest markets out there. Companies buy debt left and right. So I don't know if you know people that owes money. It's crazy. I had one company call me, and all of a sudden another company calling me. How is that? Well, they bought the debt.
That is the truth.
They bought the debt.
That is the truth.
Okay. And then we're buying debt. That's a big debt market out there. It's crazy. But yes, understanding how to pay off your debt so that way you pay the least amount of interest. And if you are lending money, you want to make sure that you're getting interest from your money. One thing I will say, as far as understanding how to pay off your debt, you want to do what's called debt stacking. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. But debt stacking is just think about going to the ER. You came in with a paper cut. You came in first, and I broke my finger. But it's maybe a fraction. We call it a fraction. And this lady comes off the street with a gunshot wound to the chest. Who are they going to see first? You that came in first? Me that came in second? I broke my finger. Ouch. It's a fracture. Ouch. It hurts. Or are they going to check the person with the gunshot wound, the gaping wound to the chest? Who are they going to see? Boom. That's how we have to attack the event. Which one is compounded faster? Okay. This is how you beat the system at their game. If you know how to tackle that faster, man, I didn't know you running on this guy, this woman. I was scheduled to make $10,000, but all I made was $2,000. Oh man, that's how you make the game. The same when you borrow, when you're lending, you want to make sure the interest rate is working in your favor. So what you really want, or maybe you're doing an investment, right? Let's look at it in that method. Maybe you want to leverage something that's giving you a higher rate of return. So at least that way you can compound faster. That's how you use it to work in your favor. But if your interest is less than, the interest that you're earning is less than what you owe, you've got to do something to fix it. Okay.
So within that, you also touched on the time and the timing in which things work. So we got this word term. What exactly is the term?
That's the contract. That's the agreement. That's the agreement of your for you to pay off the debt. Let's put it to you that way. That's the agreement. The term of this contract states your debt is supposed to be paid off in 72 months. You get a car. Okay, they'll tell you you can have 64, 72, whatever. That's the term in which they're giving you to pay off the time. Now, again, I go back to making sure, and I want you to understand, make sure you have a clear understanding. If you do have excess and it is feasible for you to pay it off early, by all means you do so. So the term could just be them trying to keep you in, right? Okay. So remember that you want to find a way out. Maybe you might want to refinance to someone that actually can do it. Okay. Just to throw out a little nibbles out there. All right. Yeah.
So even when we think of the term, how the whole purpose of not the sole purpose, but how businesses make money is by keeping people in debt. How there is money to be made in people's debt.
Yes.
So understanding the things that a lender may do. Talk to us a little bit about credit and why is that report so valuable, and how do lenders use our credit reports to make decisions, or if they'll even lend us information?
So I'm sure everyone, well, there are three credit reporting agencies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. The credit can be used for everything, even employment. Even employment. You want to focus on, they use it for home purchases, cars, of course, as I said before, employment. The importance of your credit, again, if you're leveraging credit and you want to do, you want to free up your cash instead of pouring all your cash into it, and then you want to leverage your credit. But you want to make sure you understand your credit scores. You would go from 300 up to 850 as the max. And these companies will base their decision based on that score. And based on that score will determine what interest rates they will lend, whatever product that they're offering or charging. So the better the score, the lower the interest rate. So that's it.
So let's say I make $250,000 a year. Financially, I'm doing well. I got flow coming in. Do I still need credit?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, you do need credit. It all depends. Well, I would say this. It all depends on what you're doing.
Okay.
Everybody's situation is different. Let me not generalize it. All right. Everyone's situation is different. If you're just looking to hold on to more of your blood, sweat, and tears, leverage credit. OPI. You use other people's money to get what you want. Okay. So, yes. All right. So that would be the differentiation. What are your goals? Are your goals just to buy this property or whatever it may be? Or are you looking to do something else? Maybe you want to save that cash for your legacy. Okay, there's so many different, there's so many variables that really play. And again, it all depends on the individual. It really depends on the individual to determine if they want to use credit or they want to use cash. But if you look at the build your profile, of course you're going to use credit to build your credit worthiness. If you're not, then go ahead and use your cash.
So I want to build my credit. I want to start doing that one of the things, right? As I'm doing my homework, I come across these terms. I'm not completely sure. So, annual percentage, annual fee. talk to us a little bit about those things and why they are important in understanding credit and how to use credit.
Let's go back to what I said before, the rule of 72. If you understand how long it's going to take for your debt to double, it's going to be the faster you need to move to make sure that it does not double. That's it to be, it's not complicated. It's really not. You really decide, it's simple. Get your calculators out. You take 72, divide it by the interest rate. Once you understand how long it's going to take for your principal that you owe to double, you're like, no. It will scare a lot of people. They might say, you know what, I might have to rethink what I'm doing because that might not be a benefit to me. Instead of just going in and saying, well, I'm supposed to. You don't have to. You don't have to. Go in and start off getting some secure credit lines going and build your credit that way. And then as you build your credit, then you start to apply for unsecured credit cards, and then that way you probably look and say, oh wow, look, my credit card, my line is actually better, my interest rate that I'm getting now is better than what I had when I'm just starting out. Okay? So that would be my recommendation. You know, just think, but just understand the rule of 72 when it comes to the interest rate.
So thinking about interest rates and understanding it, right? There are really two types, fixed and variable. Now, what is the difference between the two of those? And is there sort of a golden standard in which one we want? Do we want a fixed or do we want a variable? So talk to us.
So let me ask you this, right? We go in business together, you know, and I say to you, or you say to me, you know what, Andrew, I like what we're doing here, but how much of the business do you want? And I say to you, don't worry about it. Let's talk about it later. Are you going to be in business with me? Are you going to be in business with me if I tell you, don't worry about the percentage of the business that I want now. Let's worry about it later. Are you going to be in business with me?
I would want to lock that number in.
You want to lock that number in right now. That's the difference between fixed and variable. Fixed, at least you know what it's going to be for the life of. Variable, you don't know. I come to you tomorrow and says, you know, hey, listen, we built this $1 million corporation. I'm going to take 90%. Wow. Blindsight. Okay, so that's the difference between fixed and variable.
Okay.
The known and the unknown.
And in terms of when we think that, so we're going to jump back a little bit to terms, right? And taking care of our responsibilities and paying our bills.
Right.
Talk to us about the grace period and how companies may use grace period, but how do they help or work against us?
And then it's, you know, always remember when I told you about that paper being printed, that grace period, yeah, you will have the grace period, but that paper still has printed. So it can help you where you get that peace of mind where you're not charged a late fee, but you're still being charged interest. So if they're going to give you one thing with one hand, they're going to take away something with the other. Okay. So always remember that no one's doing anything because they like you. They don't know you like that. They don't even know you. Okay? They don't know you. All they see is their bottom line. So yeah, grace period? Yes. They give you 15 days grace period. Sure. All that means is that just getting you closer and closer to that paper being printed. Okay? And that's after the first one is already printed. Okay? So you gotta make sure you understand what the position is. Don't just go in and say, oh man, at least I have this grace period. There's going to always be a give and take.
Yeah. Okay. Because companies have to make money something.
Absolutely.
It's not just like you said. One, they don't know you. But two, they don't like you that much. Or as much as we may think they do, right? Because we get the call, it's like, oh, they trusted me with this credit line. They done gave me this credit line, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever.
Sure.
But they don't like you that much.
Especially if you call them on a regular. We have people that they call on that call company on a regular. And anytime you call them, they are documenting everything. You think they like you? They don't like you. So, they know me. They know I call them and I listen. Get off that pedestal, man, sir. Okay.
That's it.
Yes, indeed.
So, one of the last questions, when we think about a mix of credit and, even having different bank accounts and different ways of actions, right? So, me personally, I have 4 accounts. I have a main account, I have a play account, I got my bills come out of this account, and then I have my account with my barber, right? And then different funds get pulled from different accounts to take care of different stuff, right? And it's not all everything just one account. I'm trying to figure it all out. Even for my pay myself, right? I have it come straight out of my check to one account, so I don't even need to touch it. So thinking about not just a mix of accounts, but a mix of credit and a mix of lines of credit. Why is choosing the right lender important up front?
Just as I stated before, it all depends on what you're looking to do in the future. You could talk about whether you want, you say a mix of credit card. Let's say you want to secure. You got yourself a unsecured. It all depends on what you're looking to do, honestly. Why is it important? One, it's almost like hedging. It's like hedging. You talk about your investment, you talk about hedging the market. I'm gonna invest in this variable account right here, but I'm gonna make sure I have some indexing going on over here. Or just think about a McDonald's. McDonald's owns franchise owners. They don't just own one McDonald's. They have multiple McDonald's in different areas. Why? Because all McDonald's are not created equal. The McDonald's that's right there on Sunrise or South Hollywood is different from the McDonald's that's right there in Springfield. Okay. So how do I offset? At the end of the year, I'm going to look and I say, wow, you know what? Whew, I took a hit in this particular location. But you know what? This right here, I got a surplus. So it was able to offset, and I still have this extra. So you got to play the hand that's going to put you in the best position financially. Does it make sense to have multiple cards? Maybe it does. But it all depends on what the cards are doing for you. Maybe your mental. That's another thing. Let's talk about the mental capacity, the mental anguish that people feel because of stressing over the credit cards. So sometimes maybe you don't need all of those credit cards. You can just have none. Or just get the secure card, as I stated before. I put the money up. I use the money. That's when I leverage. I leverage my own cash. And then at least I know that this is the peace of mind that I have. I don't have to worry about this exotic number that's keep coming up. Especially if I got a variable interest rate. This is where a lot of people are hurting. So it all depends on what the individual can do. I won't say it makes sense to have all. I guess it all depends on the individual. It takes an individual standpoint, it takes an individual to really have an assessment. Maybe talk to someone who specializes in it doesn't hurt you and your legacy. That's all you gotta make sure you understand. Don't abuse it. Use it, but don't abuse it, right? Right. So just think of that.
I love that you're thinking and talking legacy and longevity in the future. Once again, especially within our culture, because even when we look at businesses and how businesses become structured and created, I don't think there's anybody today in our generation who doesn't want to start a business of some sort. No matter what you're doing, what everybody, I'm starting a business. I got this business, right? And much of our culture, we look at it for us, the right now, the this, the what can I get for me? How can I make this work for me? And that's where the dollar stops. That's where things get cut off. It's with me, right? There's no longevity that's built into this for my children to have, and my children's children, and my children's children's children. And the communities of people who they will never even meet me, but they will feel the impact of my work, right? And that's when you're thinking and talking and legacy and longevity. So, as we wrap up this conversation, what final thoughts do you have for people to help them develop and have a mind that thinks bigger than just now, bigger than just me, bigger, because, like I said before, stop right there. So what advice can you give and a final thought that you can give for the people?
So, it's funny that you talk about it stops right here. When I'm sitting with my clients, I'm always thinking long term. Not only for their retirement, I'm thinking, what are we doing now that's going to create that legacy? Again, coming from a coach's standpoint, I use this analogy to my clients. We all, let's say we didn't come from money. And we say, no, we didn't come from money, the money didn't come from me. But we created the money, but we didn't educate the next generation on how to take it over. So my analogy is always, it's a relay. You created the baton, and now you're running. And now you pass it off to your beneficiaries. What we find, beneficiaries are going left, they're going right, they're going backwards, running in the wrong direction. You need to be moving forward. What do we have in place to ensure that, number one, our legacies need to understand, why are we here right now? Why do you do what you're doing? Sit, come on, have a seat. I'm sitting with my advisor. You need to sit in on this. Get off your darn phone, okay? Because all those popping candies and all these different apps are not going to help you, okay? This what we're building right here. I want you to understand this so that when you have my grandchildren understand. Your children, your grandchildren are going to be your first students. Making sure that you have a dynasty with it, a dynasty trust, excuse me. You might have a dynasty trust that explains what you want your legacy to look like. 12 generations down the road. From college to marriage to home ownership. Anything that you could think of that is of value. Maybe your antique cars. The American dollar is not strong as it used to be. So put in there. Maybe we need to make sure that we are finding different assets that will appreciate. We want constant growth. We don't necessarily need the variables. Okay. have something that can create that buffer. Put your family in a bubble. We don't care. Let your kids understand how you need to move and move it right here. Because you're gonna have a lot of distractions, trust. From the company that you keep, from the TV shows you're watching, even some of the books that you might read, of course social media. If you can remove some of that stuff or have a filter, know how to take positive messages despite all the chaos and use it to your advantage. Sometimes we get messages from some messengers that we just want to punch in the eye, right? But don't alienate the messengers. Focus on the message, because the fact of the matter is none of us are perfect. We have good thoughts. We have some not so good thoughts. Take the good. Somebody said to me, eat the meat and discard the bone. I never heard that before. It's crazy.
That's one of my favorite things. I can have the meat and potatoes and spit out the bone. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I said, I'm doing that. Thank you. Each one teaches one, right?
There you go.
But also making sure that we're creating circles like this, like Nikki, so that way we can help to foster these conversations, and it will no longer be taboo. Let it be a thing where kids can say, how much money did you save? How much money did you save? Huh? That's all you saved? Oh,
excited about
right,
that stuff. Yeah.
Right. You know, what stock did you buy? Oh, you bought the new Apple. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Mm-hmm. I heard a sleeper stock. Y'all. You know, just having these
Shifting the conversation.
Or just say, you know, hey, how much money can you put in your life insurance? Huh? That's all you can put in? Oh, you need to up your stuff. Talk to mommy and daddy about that. Right? These are the things that you should be encouraging. And as a community, once everybody starts getting that bug, all these other things that are happening that they're trying to distract you from, that's how we're going to make it.
That's a different kind of flex, right? We can flex about the Gucci this, the Louis that, the this, that. Cool.
Right.
But when you say, do you run or do you own?
Right.
What name is on that?
Right.
We're
going to answer questions in a different way, so that way we don't want these people to look back. Because guess what? So not everybody is meant to be okay. Not everybody is meant to, and it's okay. We gotta let them know that
they can you right. But to have a desire
to have
and because and sometimes we don't even think it's doable. Because when I moved upstate, and I'm from Left Rack City, Queens. So I'm from big buildings, apartment complexes, all of that. 16th floor. I lived had the balcony the whole time. So when I moved upstate and somebody asked me, did I rent or did I own? It was like, oh, wow. I didn't even think about home ownership for me. Why? Because I grew up in an apartment in a building. So just him asking me that question shifted my what? And it's being able to expose, because we can't ask what we don't know, and we can't desire what we've never been exposed to.
Correct.
So I think even if it's just planting the seed,
Yes.
and that's what you've been able to do here today with this financial education conversation. So Andrew,
Yes.
thank you for being here with us today,
Pleasure.
by helping to educate the people wherever you are viewing from.
Yes.
Because you've helped us grow taller today, and you've helped us become more educated to make smarter financial decisions. So, any last thoughts? Please let the people know where they can find you and get in touch with you. And
yes. So you want to get in touch with me? You can get in touch with me. I'm on Instagram. Andrew _Grant _GYWFG. Okay, so that's ANDREWGRANT_GYWFG. That's Instagram. You can also email me at gywfinancialgroup@gmail.com. You can also call me on the business line, 914-418-4948. Again, I'm going to give you the email again. That's GYW, that's Golf Yankee Whiskey, for my military personnel, Golf Yankee Whiskey Financial Group @gmail.com. Telephone number 914-418-4948. And I was gonna show you my QR code. It's that's gonna be
That's what that, I was curious. That's actually good to have a QR code on it so people can just scan.
Absolutely.
Listen, so if y'all see them in the street, keep
That's
your
right.
phone ready.
That's right.
And bust out the camera so you can make that happen and scan to get in touch.
So, and I definitely love to speak to groups. I've been blessed to been invited and share the knowledge with a couple of schools, high school, middle school, and elementary school level. This is the end of the year, so a lot of people are making these last minute requests. So if you require to understand a little bit more about, the conversation that we have today, maybe you are a seasoned veteran and you got yourself in a space and now you're looking to take yourself to the other level. Maybe you're trying to move to the bracket of the 5%ers. I'm licensed in all states and I can help you with that guidance. I am a licensed financial professional. I'm licensed in all these states. And if I don't have that license, it's coming. It doesn't take long. Okay? So please don't be afraid to ask. And remember, a closed mouth don't get fed. That's the only way we're going to make the necessary changes that you need to make in your life. So that's what we're going to leave it.
Awesome. Please get in touch with Andrew, just with you, or for someone else.
Yes.
Reach out and tell a neighbor, tell a friend, Lottie, Danny, and everybody. Andrew,
Everybody.
thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being with us for another Barbershop Convo Series, and we will see you next time.
Thank you again, Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki. Shout out to Nikki back there. Y'all can't see her, but she's here in the building, running the show, making it happen. Shout out to Nikki in Cut City. Bless you.